HalfAss Homestead, I toil day by day, planting seeds in the soil, hoping they'll find their way. With the rusty old tractor and the trusty old mule, I keep this place running, trying to play it cool. I'm maintaining my HalfAss Homestead where the bluegrass grows, working the land with my hands, that's how it goes. Though it ain't fancy, it's the life for me, living off the land, happy and free.
Hey guys, how we doing? So here we are starting another Saturday night, Memorial Day weekend Saturday night. I'm pretty happy about that one. I don't know if you guys got any kind of barbecues going on or whatnot. I've been trying to plan one. I have a coworker who lives down the road about 1.5 miles from me, and I've been wanting to get him over here, him and his wife and kid over here for a barbecue, and I have not been able to get them invested in it. I do believe they will be here someday, maybe next weekend. Won't be Memorial Day weekend. He and she both have a job at a local rope braiding company right now, and they work Monday through Friday. They get Saturdays and Sundays off as a general rule. But he also, because he's desperate, went out and took a job at Walmart. And they asked him at Walmart, well, did you ask for Friday or did you ask for Saturday and Sunday off? And he says, no. And the manager came over. She says, okay, great. Well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule you for being here for Friday and Saturday from 1 to 10. I got to put a post up here. I think we have somebody joining us tonight, I believe, if it doesn't get too hectic where they're at. So this is for Tasha. Hi, Melvin, Donnie, how we doing? Tasha Lynn said she might be joining us live tonight from the campground. Hi, Lynn, how we doing? So, yeah, so he said, no, I had no plans. Paul Honeyman, how we doing, sir? She said that she might be joining us live. But back to Dennis and Cheryl, he said, no, I'm not, I didn't ask for the days off. And they said, okay, well, good. Because you didn't ask for the days off, you're working Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 10. And I was like, all right. And they said, well, what about doing something on Monday? And I said, no, Monday's out, man. I mean, Monday's going to rain, so Monday's out. But Monday, I'm also planning on doing a barbecue for my mother and my brother. So, I mean, my brother comes down from Syracuse, which is about, 40-minute drive for him to get to her house to pick her up. And then it's another half hour from there to here to bring her here. So we're doing that on Monday. I told him, I said, no, Monday is absolutely out. And they're like, all right, well, maybe next weekend. I'm like, yeah, next weekend would be good. I actually have cornhole boards set up out in the front yard, ready to play cornhole. If anybody wants to join me, should somebody just pop in and say, hey, let's play cornhole. All right, let's go play. I don't care. It might not even be somebody I know, but that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, so that's been my weekend plans, and they've been pretty much skewered since the get-go, but that's all right. Hi, Charlene, how we doing? So that's been the get-go of it, you know. I mean, all this week I have been so busy. My chickens are laying eggs, like I said last Saturday. They're starting to lay some eggs. So the first thing I needed to do this week was get out and build some nesting boxes. I did build them 2, and I'm going to give them a 3rd one here very shortly. I don't think they need 3 because it's only 10 birds with 7 of them being chickens. I think 2 nesting boxes would be plenty. But because of the width of my chicken, the width of my chicken coop is 3 feet. And so I went and I bought nesting boxes, which if I had known what I was buying, I would have just bought a piece of plywood and made them myself. But I bought 2 nesting boxes. They weren't cheap by any means. I mean, I could have bought a sheet of plywood cheaper than what the nesting boxes cost and build them with just a little bit of extra time. But I got it built, and it's watertight and all that good happy crappy. You know, you can lift up the lid, check for eggs, go in, and, you know, right now, because the center of it, the nesting boxes are only 11 inches wide. So there's like a 14-inch section in the middle of the two nesting boxes that don't have anything. Yes, Paul Honeyman. I did manage. If they weren't polecats, though, they were weasels. Come to find out, it was a toss up. It could have been a mink, a ferret, a weasel, or what we call fisher. They all have the same life aspect. They're all the same size. But I found out if you buy wolf pee, the urine, it actually distracts them and makes them not want to come back. Now, before I did that, what I did is my girlfriend Leah had found out that there was a possibility of them not liking the smell of peppermint. And peppermint would deter their sense enough to make them not to want to come in and mess with your chickens. So we put peppermint down, and I lost the chicken that same night. I'm going, yeah, that peppermint's not working. But, you know, me being the thinking guy I am, I had peppermint eucalyptus oil upstairs. And so I went up. Yeah, they are a pain. So I went upstairs, and I got my peppermint eucalyptus oil, and I ran 2 times around the whole chicken run. And the one thing I learned is you don't want to do that because I have 2 stripes all the way around my chicken run of very, very dead grass that died within minutes of the time of just putting that oil on there. It was so potent. But nothing bothered them. And I used that time when nothing was bothering them to order the wolf urine off of Amazon. And I talked about it last week, actually. And so that worked temporarily, but the wolf urine seems to be working really good. Now they say if you want, you can go out and just pee around your chicken coop. And Michigan Life by the 45th parallel. I hear you. I just got done watching your video of hooking up your well and stuff, brother. I laughed about it. I was like, wait, did he put pipe dope on that pipe? Because I was watching you put the check valve back on. I don't think you put any pipe dope on the check valve, but I didn't see it leaking when he had it running either. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, our signal right here isn't that great either. Actually, at 4:30 today, and I really thought it was going to continue a lot longer. Right now it's 8 o'clock and it's not bad at all. But at 4:30 today, we had a major storm blow through our area where we had 50-mile-an-hour winds. There was hail. There was rain. I mean, it was just wild. All of my chickens ran into the coop. They don't even like being in the chicken coop, but they all ran into the coop to get out of the weather. All day long, it was like bright and sunny, and I was outside working, and they were like underneath the chicken coop, hanging out in the shade, loving it. And when that storm kicked in, they were just like, yeah, no, we're all going to go inside now. And I mind you, my chicken coop isn't huge. It's 3 foot by 4 foot. So for 10 birds, it's pretty crowded. Hi, Arlene. How we doing? It's pretty crowded. But I was just like, if that's where you want to go hide, I guess I can go hide. I'm going to go hide in the house. I wasn't going to stay out in it. And I'm glad I didn't because my whole front deck is 8 feet wide. And there wasn't a part of that was dry. My upper back deck on the opposite side of the house is also 8 feet wide. And that rain had pushed in probably about 14 feet into that upper deck. So it was really like a big major wind push going through and bringing all of it. Now, mind you, I mean, I've been dealing with other things too, Paul. This is ironic too. I planted 50 strawberry plants and I ended up with 5. And I don't know if it's my chipmunks, if it's squirrels or something else, but something's decided they like eating strawberry plants. They also like eating cucumber plants. They ate the top off my watermelon plant, but they didn't touch the zucchini. So today we went to the greenhouse local to us, and I bought 3 more cucumber plants. I still got the 3 in there that they ate the tops off of, so hopefully they'll grow back as well. But I bought 3 more, and then I built a cage that's like 2 feet tall of quarter mesh hardware cloth, and made a round cage that goes all the way around them so that nothing can get into my cucumber plants before they start to get a little bit more mature. I know a lot of things like eating the young ones. Yeah, well, you know, Paul, I was told the chipmunks love strawberries, but, you know, we have a garden bed that has all wild strawberries growing in it all summer long. And they do not go in and eat the strawberries or chew up the plants or anything else. So I'm not real sure as though it's the chipmunks that are doing it. Now, I do have one prize strawberry plant that's in my front bed that thing, I've never seen a strawberry like it in my life. Every strawberry plant I've ever seen or ever grown, they've always had white flowers. This thing has a really, really, really nice, like magenta red type flower. And it's really pretty. I mean, there's a lot of flowers on it now, and the plant keeps getting bigger. So whatever it is, it's not affecting that plant, which is good because that would really make me mad because I don't even remember where I got it. I want to have to replace it. But while we were at the greenhouse today getting more flowers and stuff to put out, I did buy 2 more June-bearing strawberry plants. I mean, these things already have strawberries on them that are over an inch long. So I planted them over there too. But what I did is I left them into the planter they were in because, strawberries don't grow that big of a long root system. What they do is they grow the root system. And when they don't feel the root system can grow any further, they start putting out the feelers, and then the feelers touch ground and they sprout, and then you get strawberry plants everywhere. And I have a big compost pile in my front yard, and that's my hoping is that whole compost pile at some time becomes really nice big strawberry plants, whether it becomes June bearing, forever bearing, whatever. I don't care. I just like strawberries. We have a lot of wild blueberries around here, and or no, I'm sorry, not blueberry, blackberry. And I've noticed this year that my blackberry plants are phenomenal. I've got probably 14 different areas where wild blackberry plants are growing on our property right now, which is great. I love it. I take the strawberries, the blackberries, I buy the blueberries, I mix them all together, and I make a mixed berry pie out of them or jam or whatever. So it's like, there we go. We just let this stuff all grow out there, and life goes on. I want to do this one more time on a post, just because I don't know if Natasha's coming in or not. But Natasha, if this is you, I'm going to throw this out there again. And now I'm going to start it so it's at the top of the chat. There you go. Natasha Lynn said she's probably going to join us tonight. She's got her new boyfriend and all of her kids. So she said if she does, it's going to be pretty hectic, and that's fine. I don't care. Let it be hectic. Oh, it's after 1 a.m. Wow. So, Paul, is your 1 a.m. dark or light? And Jason Clarissa, by the way, good job on getting the campsite back up again for the new summer. That's something else I kind of wanted to touch on tonight was summers. We have a camper. It's a brand new one. We just bought it last year. No, sorry. Yeah. Year before last. It's dark. Okay, well, that helps. Around here, 1 o'clock is pretty dark too. We bought this camper. It's like an 18-foot camper, and it's self-contained and all that stuff. And we were, since the day we bought it, like we bought the camper, we brought it home. I reached out to a campground and said, I want a seasonal site. And that seasonal site was $1,200 a year. Plus, you have to maintain that site. We might have used it out of the 6 months that you can be there, which means you're paying $200 a month plus maintaining the property for them. Out of the 2 months we were there, we might have camped, or 6 months we were there, we might have camped maybe 8 times. Maybe 8 times. I didn't like my neighbors. When we first went there, the site they gave us was so small. Our awning goes out 6 feet. Our neighbor was within 2 feet of that awning. And I talked him into letting me move it to a bigger site, which was next to my cousin and her husband's site. And then we found out we had other neighbors in the area that just weren't people I can get along with. I get along with about anybody, but there's certain people that you just got to, there's the hand, stop talking, walk away. And that's the way that one was. So I said never again for that one. And then last year we went to a local one called Forest Lake Campground. That was about $1,400 a month. Plus you had your own electric bill that you had to pay two times during the season and still maintain your own lawn. And so I was, making the drive every week, cleaning the yard up, checking on everything, making sure everything was okay. And again, we probably used it 6 or 8 times. And I'm like, we're not doing this no more. We have a local campground right down the road from us, probably within 15 miles. And it's part of a state park system. We can go there and camp all weekend long for free. And we have another one 7 miles in the opposite direction. Not that I want to use that one. They never mow it. So, you got fleas and ticks like crazy in the area. But, even if we went to a regular campground 6 or 8 times a year at, say, $30 a night, isn't going to equal $1,200 a year. And I don't have to maintain the site. So we're not doing that no more. I am done with that. We are not doing it. And, of course, right now my truck is still in the shop. I have a 2014 Chevy Silverado LTZ, which is like their top of the line truck for that year. And when they build those trucks, they put in what is called the AFM system, which is automatic fuel management. So if you're driving the truck, you're not pulling the load and you're not going uphill, it will drop the lifters. So if the valves don't open, the intake fuel, the exhaust valve's still open, but the intake ones don't. And what had happened is that truck had been driven for so long before I bought it, and even when I owned it most of the time, without a load on it, that those lifters never lifted up. And when I did start putting it under a load and going up and down hills, because I'm in a valley region, it's called 7 valleys. You got 7 hills and 7 valleys. Actually, it's 8 hills and 7 valleys. So I'm always going uphill and downhill and all that stuff. But anyway, the lifters, because they'd been left down for so long, would not lift back up again. And that created a major issue. The raw gas that was getting pumped to go into the intake valve, because the intake valve wasn't open, would go out the exhaust valve when the exhaust valve opened, and then go right straight to the catalytic converter. And it fried a lot of stuff in the catalytic converter. Like all of the O2 sensors now have to be changed. All of those lifters that won't lift up anymore had to be changed. There's on an 8-cylinder, there's 4 of them that run on AFM. And so I had to have all that changed out and stuff. And once I got to the point where, okay, all of that work's been done, I stopped back at the garage just this Monday, and I said to my mechanic, Mike, Mike, what's going on with the truck? And he says, it's still throwing codes, Dave. He says, I don't understand why. And I said, well, change all 4 O2 sensors. To me, that just makes sense. And he says to me, he says, well, I thought that too, but then I went in and I started doing some tests, and bank 1 is totally plugged. So I have to replace your Y pipe and your O2 sensors. I was like, all right, well, what's that going to cost me? He's like, oh, the Y pipe's $306. Yeah, do it. I don't care. Get it done. So while I was standing there talking to him, I said to him, I says, this is getting to be camping season, and I can't move the camper without the truck. So, I have a tent. If we wanted to seriously just go camping for the weekend, I could throw the tent in the car and we could go. It's not a big deal. Do I want to? No, absolutely not. But I would. I absolutely would if I wanted to. I would not be here doing whatever I'm doing. I'd be there. But because this is a major weekend, it's been spending time at the greenhouses, picking up flowers and going around and figuring out where everything's going to get put into the yard and do this and do that. Work on the chicken coop, make sure the chickens are still okay. I don't have to worry about watering them anymore. They have an automatic watering system that runs off of a garden hose all summer long, so they can drink water. They can't just automatically eat food. I have a 4-inch pipe that's 4 feet tall that is full of chicken feed. But for some reason, they don't really like it out of that pipe. They seem to reach in, dig it out, and then just go in and eat the crumbles that are left after all the bigger pellets are taken out. And I even bought mini-sized pellets, so I don't understand what the purpose of that is. But it's like, yeah, I have the ability to go camping for a weekend without having to worry about somebody being here and taking care of anything. And I'm like, well, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. Life goes on. Beanies and weenies. I actually just got done cooking a steak not too long ago, like not even, but it's 20 after 8 now going on. So I took the steak off the grill 5 minutes to 8, somewhere around there. I procrastinated doing other stuff, watching Jason and Clarissa at Michigan Life above the 45th parallel set their camper up for the season. So I like came down, checked the temperature of the steak, said, "Yep, it's done." I put it into a pan, I threw it on the counter, and said, "Okay, that's good." No, I did not find land yet. And to be honest with you, Melvin Downey, I'm not really in a major hurry. I've said this a few times down here. I live in a 1900s farmhouse. It's 2,000 square feet, and half of it right now is in the remodeling stage. So I still have to make it through that other half of the remodeling stage, and there's still more things I'd like to be able to do here just to raise the value of the property up. So when I do sell it, I get a lot more money than what we paid for it. Our taxes are phenomenal up here, and that's why I want to get out of New York. But in the same respect, I don't want to sell this place dirt cheap and just settle on something out there, especially for what prices of land are going. I've been talking a whole lot with Tasha Lynn, and she found 11 acres for $72,000, and I told her absolutely not. You want to go halves on that? I'm not doing it. There's no way. Not when I could have got 10 acres for 49,000 right over there by Gary and Mary from Jump to Jumps, which was also right next door to Back to Good, Rachel Ray. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing 72,000 on 11 acres. And then I sent her a link that was for a trailer. It was a 1972 single wide trailer with a barn and a 2-car carport on 6 acres of land for 82,000. I told her I would do that before I go half on a 72. To be honest with you, for 11 acres, I wouldn't do it. The price is too high. Right here in my local area, I can buy acres for about $3,500 an acre. Well, Paul, maybe if you stopped using old chickens to do that and used a young one, I don't know. I thought I seen a comment in your comment. Yeah, the prices are crazy. I mean, Jason, Clarissa, you guys know your Michigan land didn't cost no, $9,000 an acre or $11,000 an acre or whatever. I mean, it's just outrageous. And because of that, I'm just sitting back and saying, okay, I'm just waiting because I want to get out of New York with by all means, but it doesn't have to be Arkansas. It could be Tennessee. It could be South Carolina. It's not going to be Florida. I'll be honest with you with that. Not because of the politics in Florida or the taxes even in Florida. It's not going to be Florida because I just don't want to go to Florida. I want an area that has seasons, and Florida has hot and cold. That's all they get. Okay, well, good. I'm glad to see, Paul, that you weren't eating mom's old chicken. Yeah, 10 acres for 15,000 is awesome. Back when I bought my last camp, it was 13.13 acres for $13,000. I couldn't go wrong. I bought my brother's camp off of him after I had already worked with another guy to purchase that one. And because my brother's camp was getting ready to go up for tax auction, so I went in and I bought his camp out from under him to keep him out of the tax auction. Because, when they sell the tax auction, whatever's still owed, you still owe. And so I went in and bought his property out from under him, and I told my partner on the other land, I says, look, man, fucking, this place is already 3/4 paid off. If you want to stay here and pay the rest of it off and keep paying the taxes, it's all yours. I'm walking off. And he's like, all right, yeah, I'll do that. And he didn't. He quit paying taxes. And when he quit paying taxes, he lost the land to back taxes. And then he got sued by the county for back taxes. Because when they sold the land, it went to auction and it sold for cheap. I mean, we're talking $5,000, $6,000 cheap. And he owed more than that in back taxes by the time he lost the land. Because you gotta quit paying taxes for 2 years before it goes up to auction. if you miss it for 1 year, your taxes almost double in penalties. But if you miss 2 years, it automatically goes to auction. And then they also double your penalties, and then they also add more taxes onto it and all that other crap. And it just goes up and up and up from there. And so it was just one of them deals where he didn't pay attention. Now with my brother's camp, there was a cabin on 10-acre lot with a 7-acre pond. With that one, he actually found somebody that was interested in buying it for cash. And I was doing it on terms. I paid his back taxes, and then I was doing the rest of it on terms. And when he told me, he said, look, this guy's willing to give me cash. I can pay you back all the money you've invested in this place so far. You really haven't done much with it yet. So how about, hi Ace, how we doing? He says, so how about I take this guy's cash offer. I pay you back everything you've got invested in it, and you walk away. Well, what I found out afterwards was, yeah, this guy was going to pay him a lot more money than I was going to pay him, because he was going to pay me back all the cash that I had invested, where he was right. I really didn't have a lot of time invested into it. And this other guy paid off all of my debt to my brother that was owed. Plus, he also bought him a brand new four-wheeler. And, you know, that's $10,000 toy on top of everything else. So it was like, yeah, if you want to do that, I don't care. It don't matter. You know, I wasn't enjoying his camp as much as I thought I was going to anyway, and it needed a lot of work that I was just like, it's not the work that I'm afraid of, it's the money you got to do. Yeah, taxes will kick your butt. I agree, Jason, of course. I agree. All right, to give everybody an idea, I live on 0.59 acres here in New York State, upstate New York. You know, I'm in a little county, long ways away from New York City or any other big cities. I pay $6,500 a year in land tax. I pay $1,200 a year in school tax on 0.59 acres of land. Anthony and them guys down here in Arkansas are only paying like $500 for 41.32 acres. And they've got it under the Homestead. And of course, Anthony being a veteran like I am, you get some discounts on that too and whatnot. And it's just like, wait a minute. When he told me what they were paying for taxes on that land, I was just like, dude, hook me up. I want to be in that area. And there's actually land over by them. I don't know how that's going to work out. Yeah, it's 41.36 acres for $500 a year in taxes. Paul, that blew me away. I don't know what they paid for the land, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't anything near what they're asking for today. I'll guarantee you that. I mean, look at Dogman. Mike over there, he bought that cabin with the property he's got. I don't think it's very many acres, but he bought that cabin and the property for $10,000 10 years ago. You know, there's other properties out there that'll go like that. You just have to get to the right people to find them. It's working with these realtors like Mark Wilhite. Mark Wilhite's the one Gary and Mary bought theirs from. Mark Wilhite's the one I've got a personal number on my phone for, and that I've talked to about the property over next to Gary and Mary and other property too. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. You're buying a big parcel of property, probably not paying much money at all, subdividing it up, maybe driving a couple roads in there or whatever. You're not adding any power, you're not adding any water. You're just giving them another lot of land, smaller than what you started with, and just breaking it up with a survey and a couple roads through there, and all of a sudden your land is worth $11,000, $12,000 an acre. No, I don't think so. I'm sorry. You know, that's not the way my life works. But I'm sure there's other deals out there. You know, David, come on Homestead. I don't know what they paid for the mountain. I really don't. And to be honest with you, I don't care what they paid for the mountain, because they probably paid more for that mountain than I would want to. Well, actually, Paul, it wasn't just Mel and Gary that found the land. Actually, Anthony found the land and sent them to go find the land. And they went to the wrong address the first time. And they actually walked the property that they found on the wrong address and sent the pictures and stuff over to Anthony. And Anthony said, no, that's not the one. So it was actually Anthony that found the property. From what I'm being told, this is straight through the horse's mouth, right from Anthony, is that Anthony actually found that property. But because they were in Nevada and Gary and Mel were in Arizona, it was easier for Gary and Mel to go check out the land first. Oh, Lynn, are you serious? Man, my growing up, of course, I'm going on 60 years old, but my growing up, my mom always said, there's things you need to know in life. The first one I'm going to teach you is how to balance a checkbook, which I still don't do today. I just look at the bank account and say, yeah, I can afford it. Go buy it. My bad. The other one was you have to learn how to cook because you can't rely on finding a wife. You have to be able to do this on your own, which is great because I do 99% of the cooking here at my house now anyway. And the last one was you got to learn how to do your own laundry because if you don't know how to do your own laundry, you're never going to make it anywhere because nobody's going to hire somebody that walks into a job site wearing dirty clothes. So you got to learn how to do your own laundry. So she taught us all that stuff. In return, me being the nice kid I was, I learned how to knit, so I taught her how to knit. I learned how to crochet, so I taught her how to crochet. As a kid growing up, owning a lawn maintenance business, as a young elder adult, like in my late teens. No, actually, it was after my late teens. It was when I got out of the Army, I started doing lawn maintenance. And when I started doing that, my uncle lived next door to us. We helped him build his house. My parents owned their house in the middle. And then they had another friend named John Ferry that had the house next door that he was building. So my dad was always bouncing between the three houses working on stuff all the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to play it out. I own the lawn maintenance company. You guys are doing all the building. I will come in and I'll mow everybody's lawns for free, including my parents. But the whole deal of it is, I want to get involved in some of the building stuff. My dad was a lifetime plumber, so I wanted to learn how to do some plumbing. And I wanted to learn a whole bunch of other stuff about what was going on and stuff. Yeah, Paul, I'm not going to dispute that one. It's up to you to decide. I know I talked to Anthony. So I mowed their lawns and stuff for free, with the only exception of knowing that when I got done mowing lawns all day long, I had something else to do after dinner hour. Is I would go over to their houses. My dad taught me plumbing. My uncle was an electrician. He taught me electrical. John Ferry was a professional carpenter, so he taught me how to do a lot of carpentry work and stuff. And for me, that was all I needed to learn, you know. I mean, that's why I want to buy a piece of land. I've always wanted to build my own house. I like what Mel and Gary have got going on. I really like what Anthony and Roxanne have done. And same thing as what Mike is doing now. But I don't want to do a shed to house. I want to do ground up, total build, maybe not a basement, but I want to have a first floor, probably on a solid cement foundation with heated floors, and then maybe half of a second floor, so I have room for a second bedroom up on top or whatever, and make that work that way. But that's my thinking, you know. I mean, lofted ceilings all the way through it'd be like a really tall type ranch, basically, is what I'm looking at. But yeah, no shed to house. I did that for the seed house. We bought that seed house, and it came in looking just like the Shelf does over there to Drifting Dreamers 5. And by the time I was all said and done, I had $20,000 invested into that building just to make it into a seed house. And that was the part that had the whole thing going with me, was that I just couldn't do that again. Not for the cost of the money. I mean, first of all, you got to have the land. Okay. Now you got to go buy this shell of a building. And now you got to shell out a lot of money to put into it. And you got to live somewhere else all the time you're doing it. I mean, we didn't move into that seed house till the last piece of paint got put on that thing, and it was all done 100%. I don't want to move into another construction zone. I won't move into another construction zone, because when you move into a construction zone, nothing ever really gets done in the time frame you had set aside. So that's my personal opinion on all that stuff. And so I kind of played out with all of these different ideas of what I wanted to do, and I designed my own house. I actually showed a picture of it on here a few weeks back, quite a few weeks back. It's just simple 24 by 40, nothing huge, really big bedroom, 15 by 15 bedroom. I think it was a 8 by 8 bathroom, laundry room off to the side, outside of the bathroom, and then a really big kitchen with a pantry cupboard, and then the rest of it was just all living room and office space or whatever. But that's my game plan, and I think that's the cheapest way to go. Now with Melanie and Gary, a lot of the big discussion has been metal roof versus shingle roof. I'll be honest with you, I'm 60. If I do a roof, I'm doing it one time. Yeah, I can buy a 25-year shingle that'll outlast me, but the house isn't built to last 25 years, so why would I do that? To me, it makes more sense to go out and put a steel roof onto the house. That's a 50-year roof, if not even longer. I mean, I'm in a 1900 farmhouse. We just replaced the roof on this 2 years ago, I think it was. And the only reason why we did it was because it was so rusty and it didn't look good on the house. And I was like, well, it's not leaking or nothing, but I don't like it. And so we had a whole brand new roof put on, and I had Amish people come in and do it. It was $4,100 to put a roof on the whole house. You ain't going to buy shingles for that, and get up there and do all that nail driving and all that, and making sure you got to do everything you got to do. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Yeah, Jason McClorsey, you need to step up your game now that you're back on the property. I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't put out crap for videos right now either. I do want to. I'm actually thinking about putting my GoPro out there and setting it up on the cameras and just watching their annex for a while and see what other people want to see. Yeah, I would. It just doesn't make sense to put a 25-year roof on the building that's made to last a lot longer. It really doesn't. Even if I'm not going to be here 25 years from now, it makes no sense. Yeah, yes, I am a youngster. I'll be fucking 60 on October 10th. I'm a youngster. I've actually been watching. I don't know if any of you guys watch these guys, but there's a website out there, or I'm sorry, a YouTube channel out there that's called Stud Pack. And in that Stud Pack, it's a father, a son, and a son's friend that are building a garage apartment next to a house. And they're using the garage apartment building as their test plot to test all these new ways of doing things or whatever. And that man is my age, and he's got more energy than I've got. He's in a lot better health than I am. I'll be honest with you on that one. I smoke. I like my beer, and he doesn't do either. But to watch this guy work and his work ethics and all that stuff is really, really awesome. I mean, I've been watching these guys now going from the ground, being dug up to where they've got a 2-story garage with a high roof peaks, and they're finishing out the inside of the garage. And when that's all done, they're going to put a walkway between the garage and the house. But before they do that, the whole house is going to be remodeled or tore down and put up a brand new house with a walk path between the garage, and then the garage will probably become like a 1-bedroom apartment for somebody. I mean, it's a phenomenal build. I love watching these guys. It's called Stud Pack. If you're interested in looking for them, they put out a lot of really good videos, and they talk about new tools all the time. Of course, a lot of them get donated to them that we'd never be able to get. We'd have to buy it. They also talk about new products that are given to them that we would have to buy. But I love watching all of it going on because it's just so much. It's just so much. Paul, how much younger is you? I'm going to guess Paul's probably in his mid-50s. Anybody else want to put a bet in on that one? I'm going to say mid-50s. Oh, you're a cradle robber? Come on, Clarissa, you didn't tell us that. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. My girlfriend's about that same age, younger than I am. I wish she was about two of half of her size now, her age now, but that's all right. It don't matter. Yeah, so I mean, I have all these things going on in my head all the time and stuff, and it's just one of those things that when you think about what you want to do in life, you know, where you want to be, what you want to do, and all that stuff, you really have to work on it. And it's kind of like what Gary from SLR. I don't know if you guys watched his live today, but or they're not their live, but their Simple Life Reclaim talk. And one thing he said was, no matter how much money you make, you'll never make enough, because the more you make, the more you spend. I have found that that's almost true 100%, to the point it doesn't matter how big of a whole house you have, because the more room you have, the more stuff you'll find to fill it. But we're in a 2,000 square foot house, and I've added on this room. I'm adding on a new room upstairs. It's freaking huge, and I have no space available to be able to just sit down and say, okay, there's no work life in my life. I mean, right here behind me, this room, there's all my stuff for making candles and stuff. Right here beside me is my laser. Eventually, this whole room is going to be made into a business room. This couch right here is going to end up upstairs in my office. I got a TV over here. It's going to end up upstairs in my office. The stand under is going to end up upstairs in my office, just so I can open this room up and use it for something totally different. And what's that do to my office? Well, my office right now is a big old kitchen. Still got all the cabinets and everything. So I probably will be moving in a little bit bigger area, because I like sitting in the dining room section of it. But that's also going to have a really big closet, and then you got a separate outside door going into it and all this stuff. And it's just going to be one of these things goes on to one of those things, moves on to the next list, and moves on to the next. I mean, it's a never ender. It's a never ender. I've got a full screen printing shop down in my basement that I don't even use. I've got probably 25 or 30 cases of t-shirts upstairs. And those 25 or 30 cases of t-shirts aren't being used, aren't being sold. They're just sitting there in boxes. We have a big garage sale coming up here in my area June 9th, which I just went and paid the $5 for today. And that's kind of a funny story on its own, but I went and paid that today. And I'm just going to start listing, you know, all these different things that I have that I don't use and I'm looking to sell. I've got a furnace sitting in my garage that came out of an apartment house. It was like almost brand new when I bought it. My full intention was to hook it up in the garage where we were at when we were renting before we bought the house. And it's never been hooked up. We came here. I brought a brand new fuel oil tank. I was going to hook it up here in the garage. Didn't happen. Somebody stole the fuel oil tank, so that didn't happen. Now I've got a pellet stove out there that was given to me by my employee, which was given to him by his brother. So I'm like, okay, well, we got heat out there. I don't really care. But I still got that big furnace sitting in the middle of the room. So I got to get that out of there. I've got a big generator. I think it's 4,500 watt. That thing's a monster. It takes two people to pick it up, by all means. I mean, big people. Not my size, but bigger people. And when I bought it, it wasn't working. And I took it to a shop. I got it fixed. No, David's last 50th. Yeah, I think David's last 50th was his 50th, I believe. But I bought that big generator and I had it rebuilt, and it's all like brand new again. I have never started it since the day I brought it back home. Got to get rid of it. That screen printing shop. Got to get rid of it. I mean, there's a lot of things I've got to get rid of. And to be honest with you, the downsides from where I'm at right now, and we're talking, I probably got 3,000 square foot of used space. I haven't seen spider tarps. Is it spider tarps or spider traps? I'd like to see a spider trap. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, Paul, I'm watching for Tim because, Tim's probably close to my age. And I'm waiting to see when he finally comes up and says, okay, I am going to do this. I'm going to do this. Yeah, I was thinking he was in his 40s too, man. I'm just waiting for Tim to say, I'm going to retire. I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think Tim has anything left to retire on. He went out and bought the Ford Raptor, and he went out and bought the Harley, and, he's working on building the barndominium and building the barn and putting up the solar field. No, I don't see Tim retiring. I really don't. Not right away, anyway. I think Tim's going to be the kind of guy with no work life. He's going to be working long beyond retirement age. That I do believe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Paul. I don't think Tim can afford to retire anymore. I'll be honest with you. I'm also the kind of guy where I am semi-retired right now. I only work for myself, and I only work so many hours a week. I mean, I constantly stay busy. I'm always going out and hustling, trying to get t-shirt jobs and stuff like that. And, mowing my lawn and cleaning up the yard and planting plants and taking care of the chickens and all kinds of stuff. I got a full wood shop, so if I get really bored, I can go play in the wood shop. And if I really want to, I can go up and grab a guitar off the stand and I can just sit around and play guitar. I never get bored. I never get bored. And I'm to the point now where unless things get really, really drastic, I have no intention of ever going back to work for anybody else ever again. Well, Jason and Clarissa, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm glad you guys came in. And next time, don't be afraid. Hook your camera and microphone up and click on the link at the top of the chat and join on in. All right, so with this being Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to cut this one short again today. I'm going to cut it not as short as normal because we've been carrying on pretty good for the last 47 minutes. But I just want to say I've said everything I pretty much have to say for tonight. I can't come up with anything else right now. Lynn, if I ask David how old he is, do you really think he's going to be honest? I can say one thing for him. I'm going on 60 and I still got hair. Sorry, Paul. But yeah, so I'm going to call this one good for the night. And, like I say, I pulled my steak off the grill probably 5 minutes before I came on for the live, maybe 10. And so it's cold. I don't care. I like steak regardless whether it's hot or cold anyway. But I'm going to call this one tonight. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. Don't be afraid to reach out to people that you haven't talked to in a long time and just say, hey, how are you doing? I try to do it as much as I can, and I hope other people do it too. And I'll be spending the rest of my weekend. Tomorrow will be like just Leah and I and sitting around. I have no idea what we're going to be doing. But then Monday I have my brother and my mother coming, and it's going to be raining. It's going to be raining. That's probably why Tasha Lynn didn't jump on tonight, because we had 50-mile-an-hour winds with hail and rain, and oh my God, it was terrible. I didn't even think I was going to be able to go live until the wind stopped blowing. But yeah, we're good. So anyway, everybody have a good Memorial Day weekend. Same time next weekend, Saturday night, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll talk to you all next time. Have a good day. Have a good week. Enjoy your weekend.